Good day all. Moving along to Surah 82, Surah al-Infitar, meaning the breaking apart, right? The breaking apart, right? The breaking apart of what really? The breaking apart of idolatry, idol worship, right? So today has always been a special day in the country of Trinidad and Tobago, which is Diwali, especially amongst the Hindu population and so on, right? So we're talking today and helping people to come out of idolatry or idol worshiping, right? Same thing with Christians and the worship of Jesus Christ. Same thing with Hinduism and the worship of how much ever hundreds of thousands of gods and goddesses, helping people to come out of the idolatry or idol worship, right? Idol worship in Islam is considered as a sin, right? It is a sin. It is a form of misguidance, right? It's a form of misguidance. Is a form of sin, misguidance, sin association of any partners with the one true God, right? Is a form of grave misguidance, right? I would call it grave misguidance, right? Other people call it sin and so on. I would call it grave misguidance because you're really not supposed to be punished for something that you do not know or you are ignorant about, right? So this is what the whole point of this mission is, to really enlighten people and make them aware, right? Bring awareness into this situation about being guided towards the worship of one God, right? The worship of one being, right? And no associations with that being whatsoever, regardless of the bond of affection you might feel towards another entity, another being, and so on, right? So to wrap up, as we was talking about yesterday, wrapping up the story, right? And like we wrap up the story about Jesus Christ and Immaculate Conception, and that was shown to be false, we are wrapping up also the story of Ram, Sita, so on, right? The worship of these beings, right? You do not want to be worshipping certain entities when God shows you that these beings are simply human and prone to the same human error and even more human errors than average people on earth. When God demonstrates that these entities, beings that descend on earth are prone to even more error, right, than average humans walking on earth, you will realize that you are in grave error by worshiping these entities as well, and none are perfect or close to perfection, right, as the one God itself. Right? So when the sky breaks apart and the stars fall scattering, and when the seas are erupted and the contents of the graves are scattered or exposed, a soul will then know what it has put forth and kept back. O mankind, what has deceived you concerning God, Allah? What has deceived you concerning Allah, the generous, who created you and proportioned you and balanced you in whatever form He will has assembled you? Right? But you deny the recompense, right? So recompense doesn't always have to mean a monetary form. It can mean what? Wisdom. It can mean balance and proportioning of the self from God, from Allah, right? So recompense could mean one, material compensation. It could mean two, wisdom, knowledge, right? It can mean three, a form of balancing or proportion, and through God helping you to balance or proportion yourself for your life, right? And indeed, appointed over you are keepers, meaning that there is the unseen realm, right? That is not really acknowledged or not really spoken about in other ways of life, other religions, right? The unseen realm, right? Appointed over you are keepers, noble and recorded, meaning the angels and so on that keep a record of your deeds, that which you have done, that which you did not do, right? And they know that which whatever you do, and it's nothing to fear or to be afraid of. It's something to just bring into your awareness, right? So what can make you know what is the day of recompense, right? It is the day when the command of that day is rests entirely with Allah, right? The command of that day rests entirely with Allah. So it is that part of acknowledging life that you are not always in control, right? You are given, Allah, God gives you freedom to act, right? You have freedom to act within your life, but then there comes a time when you have to face consequences for your choices, and in that day the command is entirely with Allah, right? So it is recognizing one, your potential and putting forth good actions into the world, and two, good or bad actions into the world, and two, surrendering to the consequence of your decisions, your choices, your work, your teachings, so on, right? So it is both, right? So it is the day of recompense is what? Surrendering to the fact that you're not 100% in control all the time, right? Although we might always want to be, right? It's not always the case. It's about recognizing there are what choices, action, consequences of choices, and Allah's will, right? So um, that brings an end to Surah 82, right? So this day is particularly about what? Bringing light or recognizing the truth about false. So that's what this day really is about. It really has nothing to do with a story about return. The story has always been that of Ram Sita return from exile, this, that, whatever, right? Lighting dias to welcome Lord Ram home and all that kind of thing, right? It has nothing really to do with those things. It is about what? Recognizing light. These things are symbolic, so it's about recognizing truth above all, truth above falsehood, truth above falsehood. That's what this day is about. So nothing is wrong with lighting your dias and stuff. I'm not here to condemn, or I especially, I'm not here to condemn anything of the sort, right? In terms of lighting your dias, right? Connecting with God, whatnot, right? Because dia is what? Light, right? And we are about light, right? Light meaning light over the dark side of the world, right? Meaning truth over falsehood, right? Truth over falsehood, right? So have a good day, everybody, and as always, and in accordance with Islam, this day is also about if you are engaged in things like food preparation or find joy in doing these things, right? It is always in accordance with Islam to what? If you want to cook and distribute food and so on, there is nothing that is against Islam regarding this day and those sorts of things, right? So have a pleasant day, everybody, and take care.